Okay, one film having finished, I'm just going to clean the projector quickly before I thread the next one. These are wiper bars which run over this field flattener lens. They run up and down. They're designed to pick up any bits of dirt that happen to be on the film. Before they get to here, they go through PTR rollers, particle transfer rollers, which also help keep the screen nice and clean. So these get changed all the time. As the cloth gets dirty, you take them out, clean them, put new ones in, so that the next session will be nice and clean as well. So everything needs a thorough clean between shows. Put that back in. Get the rotor in the right position for me to thread the next print in. So I'll be ducking back around. This is the 2D film that's just finished. And then I put in this plate as a take-up for the next show. Over the PTR rollers and around the front. I've just got to pull it up the other side now. Being a 3D film, there's two prints go through the one projector, a left eye and a right eye. And you thread one eye at a time, so I do the left eye first. Which goes right down to the bottom rotor. And then it's got to be put in frame on both input and output. And then I make a loop, which is what IMAX is famous for, the rolling loop system. And that's half of the left eye threaded. Now I can thread half of the right eye. we go. An awful lot of rollers for film to go around here. You've got to make sure that you keep the right end up all the time and you don't mix your left and right eyes. And just go over one roller the wrong way and you can put a scratch through a $30,000 print. So something you never become complacent with. Okay. I've pulled these two pieces around so they match. The left and the right eye are about the same position now, and then when I use this to frame them, they'll be perfectly in sync. In frame for the top eye, the right eye. If you look over the top here, you'll probably see how I make the rolling loop. Close it in and I push my finger in and the loop goes inwards and then I drop it out. Close up that side, close up the lens turret, and then I have to put them in the frame on the output side as well. The left eye first. And then the top eye, which is the right eye.
Calling the second score for this session with no luck, so we'll see if they run for the session, otherwise we'll just stay.
Okay, copy that, thanks.
We used to be able to get around this side of the machine, which was really good, but since we've got these new monster digital projectors here, you have to keep running around, so it's a lot more exercise.
Wash your mouth out. Digital.
That's right. This is what we love, the film. Okay, so that's all threaded up and in frame now. So now what I have to do is jog it down. Now the only sort of automation there is this foil sensor, there's one there, but there's a big one that comes around, goes through these sensors and it stops the film, and then I should have the pick start in what you would call the gate in a normal projector. And when I've done that, then I zero the frame count because there's no sound on the film, it all works quite separately, and then you interlock the sound with the film, and then when you press run, the two start together. If you forget to select the soundtrack or you select the wrong soundtrack and you start it, that's it, that's the end of the show. You can't do anything, you can't go backwards. It's a major problem. You refund 477 tickets. A full house here is $11,000 of taking, so it's on this head to do the right thing and not make a mistake. So now I'll jog it down, you'll see it jog. When I close this. And you'll see the foil come around here and it'll slow down. You'll hear the second lamp struck. The last show was only a 2D show. This is only one lamp running in there. Now I'll strike the other one, you'll hear a buzz noise. Okay, now I'll jog. Should be about right.
Projection, full group is ready and seated.
Great, thank you. Now I open it all up again just to check, because that's what you have to do here is check and check 100 times. This gives you a rough idea that it's the right film, bugs, and it's the left eye and the right eye. The arrows put you in about the right spot. But basically looking down the barrel of the lens, you can see pick start down there. And we've got the film marked here now. I've got a marking around here that just says bugs as well. So it's another visual check that we're in the right spot. So that's ready to go now. I can close the hood down. Just coming over there. On this screen we zero the frame count because it all runs on frame count. So for the film to start in time. We know there's 192 frames of leader, and when that kicks in, when it counts out to 192, the soundtrack will start. We also need to know how many frames in the whole feature, so we know when the dowser will close and the projector will stop, and that's the limit of the automation that we do. You can automate it completely, but we run everything manual. So having done that, I can now transport the projector, and the projector will roll forward to show position. Okay, that's ready to go. Press enabled. Oh.
Jeremy, to Kevin.
Hello?
Hi Kevin, this last school, there's not too many of them, but they're coming in dribs and drabs, so we may need to hold just for a minute or two, I think.
No problem. And I select the soundtrack on here, and this shows bugs. And I enable that. It comes up green, so I can press start. That won't actually start, it's just telling the little bit of automation we've got that's hooked to our pre-show slides to kick off at the right time. And then our backup soundtrack, in case something goes wrong, is up here. So I'll select that too, just in case. And that's it, now it's ready to run. So when the time comes, we've got a couple of schools in this show, I just press a run button here, and that will start everything off. Well, first I'll start the automation there, which will do our pre-show, which runs through this little unit here. And that's the stuff that's on the screen now, about our coming attractions and rules and all those sort of things you need the public to know. I'll just turn the lights off. My last chance to check anything because it runs very, very fast. Because the frames are so much bigger than 35mm, the whole thing runs a lot faster. So if it crashes big time, and it's not pretty. But there's so many mistakes you can make here. You can select the wrong deck and then you'll have a head wrap, and then it'll run for a minute and then it'll pull tight and it'll destroy the film, and then you really, possibly have a lost show. You might be able to continue with one eye as undamaged. If anything does get damaged and you have 3 frames damaged on one eye, you have to repair it, and you have to put a black slug back in because it has to stay in sync with the other prints. So it's like Cinerama, in that they must be exactly equal, the amount of frames per print. And because there's no soundtrack, 35mm, you just join it back together. The 3 frames wouldn't even register to anyone, but here you will definitely know there's a problem when you run it next time. And if there has been a damaged print and it goes through the projector and it's 3D, you'll see one eye just goes black for a minute. It's quite technical, and in many ways it's very much like the Cinerama process from the 60s, but what it puts on the screen is probably the best film I've ever seen, the best picture I've ever seen, and probably will ever see. Though in 4 months' time we'll be having laser projectors replace all this. The 70mm projector that's been here for 16 years, that I've run for the last 16 years, will be pulled out, as will all this film equipment. The 2 new digital projectors that have been in for 2 years, they'll be pulled out and will be replaced by 2 twin laser projectors which don't have xenon lamps in them, and that's where the beauty is for IMAX. Because our screen is so big, we need the light to fill the screen, and this machine's got 2 15,000 kilowatt water-cooled lamps in it. By comparison, the digital machines on the far side, which are much newer, have only got 6K lamps in them. So this does the absolute best job to fill that giant screen from top to bottom. The digital projectors actually can't do that.
And there's 1 lamp per eye.
It's 1 lamp per eye. So at the moment there's 2 15,000 kilowatt lamps running in there, with water running through both ends of it, chilled water to keep them cool. And if that chilled water fails, the lamps go out as a safety device, same as if the air goes off too. It needs the chilled water to keep them stable. And they're only good for 1,200 hours, and then you replace them at a cost of $10,000 each. So that's why, IMAX is a little bit more pricey than other theatres to attend, because it's a lot more pricey to run. let alone our film stock. 45-minute documentary here costs $30,000. This big film here is Interstellar. That's an $80,000 print, $80,000 for one cinema. So it's a lot of money. By comparison, getting it a digital copy probably cost the film companies $25. And that's the crux behind the change to digital within the industry. It's more economical, easier to run, easier to move around, but not necessarily better picture on screen. It's quite good, but it's debatable as to, you know, the bigger the screen, the harder it is to make it fantastic. And that's where laser's supposed to come in, because it's actually laser beams hitting the screen, so it can light the far corners of the screen without any loss of light. So
The lamps, the existing 6K system over there, is that 2 or 4K?
it's 2K. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know a lot about digital. It's my mortal enemy. It's going to be the end of my career of 35 years showing movies or running theatres. I've done everything from managing cinemas, cooking hamburgers at the drive-in, picking up papers, projecting, you name it, film booking. I've done a lot, I suppose, in my short career of 35 or so years, since I was about 15. And it's all going to come to a close very shortly, which is a bit disappointing. So, but that's the way it happens with blacksmiths and lots of other industries before us, I suppose. So it's going to be a sad day when I see this go, because I was here when it was installed, and I'm going to be here when it's pulled out as well.
It's not the biggest projector I've ever seen.
Welcome to IMAX Melbourne Museum, home to the world's third largest screen. Our unique projection system delivers outstanding on-screen images and combines with 15,000 watts of digital surround sound to deliver the ultimate movie experience. Before the feature commences, we'd like to remind you to switch off your mobile phone and that the use of recording devices of any kind are strictly prohibited inside the theatre. Our 3D glasses are cleaned, sanitised and recycled after every session. At the end of the movie, please place them in the collection trolleys as you exit at the rear of the theatre. You can now put on your 3D glasses. Please sit back, relax and enjoy the movie.
Projection to floor and box office, feature has started.
Copy that, thank you.
Great, thank you. projection of there.
Yes.
And just letting you know, there's someone sitting right in the middle using quite a large laptop or screen.
Copy that. Thank you. I'll take care of it.
Obviously a 3D print.
Yes. kilometres threading this projector.
I was going to say, a good way to keep fit.
Yeah, it's not working. I need to say it again.
Well, that's what they say with the drive-in theatre when there's a cafe cooking chips.
To protection that is useful for in and seated.
Great, thank you. Two and a half minutes to spare. It's not much time. Technically, it's supposed to, I think by the IMAX book, it's supposed to take 16 minutes to thread, and sometimes we have like 7. If you do anything in a hurry, if that film could easily go around that side, it'll run, but what it'll do, it'll just run, it'll put a scratch right through the emulsion, the whole thing. You won't know until next time you see it, you can't. But next time you're running, I think, oh my goodness. So these are the paranoid points. Quite often before I start, I lift this lid up again and just put my fingers there just so I know that it's right, because it can happen, and it's happened over the years, you know, different times. Not to me for a long, long, long time, but we all have our turn at
Tell me, did you say, oh my goodness?
Oh my goodness. No, I probably said more than oh my goodness, yes. I'm just very glad that on those occasions the glass is very, very thick and soundproof, because it's not good. Ready to go again. This is the last film show for the day too, so from 2 o'clock it's all digital. when you go have a look up through that door at some stage too, you'll see our big rectifiers, and our at the far end of the room is the compressor for the air, because it's all run on air. And then on this wall here, there's the water chilling unit too. But the rectifiers are massive. Everything is massive here. So worth a look.
Welcome to IMAX Melbourne Museum, home to the world's third largest screen. Our unique projection system delivers outstanding on-screen images and combines with 15,000 watts of digital surround sound to deliver the ultimate movie experience. Before the feature commences, we'd like to remind you to switch off your mobile phone and that the use of recording devices of any kind are strictly prohibited inside the theatre. Our 3D glasses are cleaned, sanitised and recycled after every session. At the end of the movie, please place them in the collection trolleys as you exit at the rear of the theatre. You can now put on your 3D glasses. Please sit back, relax and enjoy the movie.
Looks like an ordinary city. But looks can be deceiving. Always we're surrounded by things we can't see. Things that are too fast, too slow.